Hey everyone, welcome to the broadcast. I guess I gotta go ahead and start. Oh, huh. Okay, that's kind of weird. Alright everyone, so I guess I gotta go ahead and starting up the game more or less when instead of just when I'm about to stream, starting it up like a few minutes beforehand. So that way this doesn't happen. But anyways, this gives me the perfect chance to be able to talk about today's subject without much interruption from the gameplay. Because, whenever there are cutscenes and whatnot, I usually stop talking so I can enjoy and experience the cutscenes. But anyways, um, so what's been going on exactly in the realm of politics? Well, right after I just got done streaming yesterday, there were a bunch of reports that an individual known as Mahmoud Khalil, who I've been seeing a lot of talk on the media as being an immigrant, but that's kind of underselling it because he is directly, and I mean, under no such circumstance should you be in any way, shape, or form like misinformed about this, but he is directly a U.S. citizen. He came here legally. I don't know the details of when he came here legally, but anyways, he came here through legal measures and obtained a green card. As a result, he became a citizen. Green cards are quite literally granted to citizens, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on real quick, let me just double check on that. Green cards indicate citizenship in U.S. Yeah. Officially indicates permanent resident card. Indicates that the holder is a lawful permanent resident, not a citizen. Oh, not a citizen of the United States, allowing them to live and work permanently, but not all with all the rights of a citizen. Honestly, I think that's a little fucked up. Um, Primarily because you should be a citizen when you obtain a green card, because basically you're being a permanent resident in America. You're paying taxes at that point in time. You're actually given uh, a lot of understanding in terms of the legality of your capabilities here in the United States. Why aren't you a citizen then? Seems like a really fucked up sentiment. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Hold on real quick. There's a
So
little
what's the
YouTube
difference
channel.
between having a green card and having citizenship? When you have a green card, you're considered a lawful permanent resident. This means you can live anywhere in the United States, work for any employer in the United States, or start your own business. But as a lawful permanent resident, you have to apply to renew your green card about every 10 years. But as a lawful permanent resident, certain actions can put your green card at risk. For example, getting convicted of certain crimes or spending too much time outside of the United States. These activities can jeopardize your status. Now let's talk about being a U.S. citizen.
Okay, that actually does make a lot of sense as to why it is that was the case. Now, Mahmoud Khalil ended up getting thrown out in terms of, you know, what he was doing with regards to protesting in the United States. What was he protesting? Oh, he was protesting Israel. He got detained in the middle of the night by ICE, like just disappeared in the middle of the night. No one knew where he was. No one knew what was going on there. His wife specifically had to tried to go ahead and get some visitations from him, but they wouldn't let her and they wouldn't tell her where he was. Apparently, we also found out that he's in a holding facility over in Louisiana, 1,000 miles away, which, by the way, is also not confirmed. But anyways, he didn't even commit any crimes. He didn't commit any crimes, as far as we're aware of, because they haven't released any kind of statement on what crimes he committed. In fact, we know why he was detained by ICE, because quite literally the US president said it. He said it on his Truth Social account, in which Mahmoud Khalil was involved in protesting Israel. And he was involved in protesting Israel specifically because, well, he was also involved in the BDS movement, which is Boycott, Divest, and Sanction. Now, why was he protesting Israel? He was protesting Israel because of the genocide that they've been engaging with. And I was also just informed by the Humanist Report on this that the ceasefire deal, the time for the ceasefire with Israel, just ended today. So, and by today, I assume he meant yesterday because the video came out today, but I assume he records this and then edits it and then releases it the next day, which is okay, so it's probably yesterday then. In fact, let's double check on that real quick. When did Israel's ceasefire deal end under Trump? Okay, no AI generation is actually coming up with that. Okay, so I'd have to actually go into a little bit more there. But I'll assume he's correct on that. Whether it's today or yesterday, I don't really know. But it's one of the two, anyways. The point being, though, is that this is so totalitarian. This is literally 1984 shit, in which you can't protest certain things as a student. Even if you're a legal lawful immigrant who hasn't really committed any fucking crimes whatsoever. Um, and the only people who are championing this right now are the Elon Musk dick riders, as far as I can tell. Because really, the only people who are supporting this at all are doing low-key shit like showcasing that he was in a cafeteria in a student meeting in 2016 with a shirt on the back that said "Kill All Whites." Now, personally, don't know the context for that. Don't know why he was wearing that. That seems kind of bad optically speaking, but I don't want to judge because I don't know the context. And I'm not going to judge that just on the face of it because, the context may actually change my opinion on the matter. But conservatives who are, and I'm just gonna forego calling them conservatives. They're literally just fascists at this point. They will try to proclaim that this is bad. This is why he was deported. So wearing a shirt that says "Kill all white people" is a reason for deporting the guy. Like, I'm sorry, but is this not America, in which you can have the most radical, terroristic views as long as you don't, I don't know, act on them? That's constitutional fucking amendment shit right there, as far as I'm concerned. That's First Amendment free speech shit. I can say death to America all I want, but unless I go ahead and actually criminally carry out something based on that belief, I can't be prosecuted just for simply saying death to America. Now, I'm getting kind of close to saying that, unironically, but I'm not quite there yet. The point is, though, is that this is extremely chilling. And Trump says, that this is going to be the first of many arrests, meaning that people who are not just immigrants, but people who are legal citizens, people who are birthright citizens, people who are born here, will quite possibly face deportation as well um, because they went ahead and protested Israel. He's calling protesting Israel un-American. What the actual fucking Christ is up with that shit? It's un-American to be against a country who we are allied with that is doing genocide, to be against that country's genocide. It's un-American to do that? Well, I guess given the history of this country, with us genociding Native Americans and I wouldn't quite call it apartheid, but it's pretty damn close as far as I'm concerned. The apartheid type history of America to begin with, as well as our ruthless support of corporate um, the history of the ruthless support of corporations abusing Americans. That is so fucking on brand that I think he might be right. But for all intents and purposes, he's just trying to claim the country for his own shithead bullshit. So I'm not going to accept it. Even though he might be right, I might not accept it. But for all intents and purposes, the very idea that this should be a thing that we should normalize, this should be an idea that we should just, you know, simply stay quiet about and not really talk about, is utter nonsense. And I don't know who's worse at this point in time, the Republicans doing this crap or the Democrats who are doing nothing, who are saying nothing, who are engaging in zero pushback against Trump. It's just pure bullshit. I'm glad I actually didn't vote for Kamala Harris because I would have if I had the ability to be able to do so. I was in the process of moving, didn't have my ID because I had lost it and I had to apply for a new one, and by the time the election came around that I had the ability to be able to do that, I wasn't able to do it because I was too busy getting ready for the move. So yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm glad I actually didn't vote now. I'm very glad. And I'll be honest, I wasn't even like broken up about like not being able to vote for Kamala because I think she probably would have done a similar thing. Not probably deported legal immigrants, but definitely supported the brutal crackdown on students protesting against Israel's genocide. Which, by the way, funny enough, he Trump is also now like trying to say that Colombia will have funds withheld from them because they aren't doing brutal enough crackdowns, when Colombia has been brutal as all hell in not supporting this and has been supporting efforts by people coming into the campus who are not students, who are not in the state, who are pro-Zionist, to then start assaulting and attacking those who are not pro-Israel, who are against the genocide. It's just like it boggles my mind how this is kind of going about here. It really is. It is just strange to think about. This is basically how bad things have gotten in this short of a time frame. It took a long while for things to get pretty bad under Trump during his first term. Um, at first it was just bullshit, virtue signaling, attacks on Trump, 2 scoops of ice cream, that kind of shit. And then moved from, oh, he mocked a disabled person, therefore he's mocked a physically disabled reporter, therefore he is ableist and we should attack him on ableist reasoning, even though quite literally the whole reason why it was that Trump mocked him in the first place was to prevent him from having to defend his lie that Muslims end up celebrating, I think somewhere in New Jersey or somewhere like that, during 9/11, that they were out in the streets holding celebrations when that reporter was trying to call that a lie, but instead of actually pointing out that this is what he's doing, he's trying to distract from you from that, they added to the distraction. So, but at the very least there was some pushback. There was some effort to hold him accountable, even if that holding accountability was completely flaccid and virtue signaling. Now they're not even doing that. They're not even bothering to engage in that. Al Green was just sanctioned, and 10 Democrats quite literally agreed with the sanctioning, which allowed them to have him be silenced in Congress. It's just I don't understand how it is the Democrats could see the unfavorability in the actions by the Republican Party and not use that as an attempt to grab relevancy and grab power again for their party. I just don't understand it. They are so beholden to their donors, they're so beholden to the people who fund their party, that they are willing to sabotage themselves, all in an effort to effectively just keep being the corporatist party rather than being a political party that's for the people. So yeah. Well, that's done now. Hopefully I'll be able to finally get this done here in terms of the boss I missed earlier. But yeah. Oh, and one more thing. As far as I'm concerned, I think the media people, those in media, should be calling Mahmoud Khalil a citizen of the U.S. Because as far as I'm concerned, if you get a green card and you're in the United States for a certain period of time, you've effectively become a citizen. He should have applied for citizenship, but then of course they might have yoinked that away too as well. I get the feeling that people who are birth citizens here by birth are probably also going to feel a sort of similar stinging result here from this. So yeah, it's a really chilling effect. It's an effort to get us to stay silent on the issue of what Israel is about to do next. So yeah. Oh, and one more thing, by the way, the ADL applauded this too. The Anti-Defamation League, the league that is meant to fight against anti-Semitism, is now quite literally celebrating a citizen of the U.S. being disappeared into the night, being just completely just having his rights violated with no due process. And that's another thing as well. Like his green card, if they're going to revoke his green card, they have to go through the proper procedures of actually taking him to court and presenting a case why his green card should be invalidated, and he should be able to provide the case on which his green card should stay. But the ADL is celebrating all of this stuff in an effort to defend Israel. As far as I'm concerned, they're the Apartheid Defamation League at this point. Like, or the Apartheid Defense League is what I should be calling them. The Apartheid Defamation League indicates that people like saying things about apartheid that amount to defamation of the people who were victims of it. So I think Apartheid Defense League would probably work better. Yep. That's what we're going to be calling them now whenever they come up on the news cycle. So, now, with that topic out of the way here, I want to get that one out first because that was like a pretty sizable, like, issue there. Gotta talk about Trump and his threatening of Canada now. But before I do that, I'm gonna get some water here. Yeah. So, there was a post on Truth Social. My mic is acting up again. Hello? Hello? Okay. Yeah, my mic was acting up for some weird ass reason. Don't know why. Let's try it again here real quick. seems to be a very controlled area there, which is probably where the boss is. For a second. But yeah, so Canada is responding with, due to all the tariff talk and whatnot, they responded with a 25% tariff on electricity. That's Trump's claim, obviously, coming into the United States. As a result, he's added a 25% increase, making it a 75% tariff on all steel and aluminum coming into the United States from Canada. It's like, then he talks about, like, in order to get rid of this tariff, Canada has to reduce their tariffs and get rid of all their long-standing tariffs against our stuff. And I also want to renegotiate the borderline completely. And the only way in which I'm going to renegotiate that is by Canada becoming our 51st state. And he's actually talking about military responses to enact this, to engage with this kind of stuff. He's talking about having Canada as the 51st state and they will be militarily protected. I'm sorry, what? Did I miss something here? When did that Okay, well that's good then. Yeah. It does seem my mic was not plugged in properly there, so kind of weird that that happened, but whatever. It does seem my mic was not plugged in properly. Yeah, okay, so my mic wasn't plugged in properly then, okay. Alright. Was the place in which we're supposed to be at. Hold on real quick. Where was that now? Exactly? Past the Brutus right hand. Okay then, alright. Okay, that would be here, right? Yeah, I think it would be here. It's going to be one of these. So yeah, it's like, this is one of the reasons why it is Canada hates the US right now. One of the reasons why it is they hate us at the moment is because our president keeps mouthing off and being aggressive towards our neighbors. Like, Canadians are famously known for being compliant, for being nice, and for being amicable. And it's like, why would you want to piss them off the way in which you are? Primarily because Trump has like a giant fucking ego on him. So yeah, it really is just as simple as that, I suppose. Was that the correct path? No, that was not the correct path. Some other place there. I honestly don't know what's going to happen if Trump decides to go ahead and try to declare a land war. No one really wants that. That is extremely worrying that Trump is attempting to do such things and engaging in such actions that more or less is exactly what led to Bush losing the election the way in which he did. I mean, not the election, the popular vote and the popular sentiment the way in which he did. I mean, the entirety of the Republican Party was done so for like a long while as a result of his actions. You know, constantly trying to make it so that way people were becoming more antagonistic towards the U.S., making it so that way people who were allies were being mocked ruthlessly, freedom prize bullshit. All that stuff was pretty much a result of the Bush administration consistently antagonizing everyone. While at the same time doing post-war, to manufacture a sort of consent. I don't think this is quite the place that I was supposed to be going here. Let's go over here, because I think that this unexplored place is exactly where which I'm supposed to be going here. But you know, this all is very reminiscent of Bush's time in office. Trump are trying to. It really is alarming how fast America is degrading in terms of its capabilities. One is, of course, is that people like my brother seem to delusionally think that, oh, things are just going to constantly get better. Things aren't just going to slide back, or whatever it is, they're sliding back. It's not possible to slide back, you know? And he's supposed to be a progressive type who more or less understands that a society can slide back from time to time. And there are points in history that more or less indicate. Hold on, real quick. Let me see what this is. Let me go explore that area. It seems to be an area that I haven't really gone to. We might actually be able to cross it. But yeah, the idea, of course, that societies can't degrade, that things can't move backwards, that there are never points in history where in which things get worse for like a long period of time, which is so incredibly dumb. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. Because we've seen how societies collapse. When societies collapse, there are times in which they would degrade. There are times in which they will go back in terms of the progress that they've made, like culturally, socially, even technologically. Like that's what happens we lost several means of technological improvements and several things that would allow us to technologically advance, all due to religious fundamentals. Civil War was a result of people just getting so fed up and stood up for the freedoms, when in fact that was not what happened. Civil War was the opposite. The reason why Civil War happened was because the Confederates wanted to continue to subjugate people. They wanted to continue to subjugate everyone in terms of slavery. So they wanted to continue engaging it in their actions of slavery, while holding no regard to anyone else who wanted the contrary. And they made it up in their minds that the Union was going to go ahead and start combating slavery, and they made efforts to attack first, and for all intents and purposes, they wanted to create no slavery state. That's why the Civil War happened. In fact, even the popular notion of states of like the Union becoming against slavery, that didn't happen until the end of the War. Until like smack dab, I think 2 2 or 3 years into the war, that's something that actually started to become more popular. That people started becoming more and more anti-slavery. Obviously, they weren't pro-black that much. But the idea that people were fed up with slavery and wanted to end it is a complete mythology that doesn't really exist. It's not a part of the historical record. It's literally an ahistorical take based on a naive view that's ironically funded or founded upon fucking liberal sentiments. One of the more smarter individuals. But why would he believe that? I don't know. I think he just believes that because that's the way in which he can cope with how everything's going on now. But yeah, and if people like my brother believe that kind of stuff, then we're kind of cooked in it. Because there are probably a lot of other people who are in his similar situation who also believe that kind of shit. In fact, he also seems to think that people like Boss. Oh, there's the Boss. That's the guy who's looking for. Nice. He also believes that people like Bosch. Yeah. He also believes that people like Bosch are just, sheepdogs. He doesn't understand the full dangers of engaging in the regular war. I get that he is Bosch is becoming more or less fed up with the Democrats. I've been fed up with them as well, far longer than he has. But I do think that someone like Bosch should pull back on the whole accelerationist thing. Because there's never been a point in time in history in which accelerationism has ever really made anything better. Unless we're talking about stuff that's so bad that things have to get bad fast enough in order for things to even get anywhere good. So yeah. Go to the Zodiac's page anyways, but yeah, and calling Vosh a sheepdog for the Democrats just because he pulled for the Democrats, like, in 2 elections. I think also in 2016, he voted for Hillary, but he wasn't advocating people vote for Hillary, so there was that. But, just because he pulled for them in that election, while simultaneously constantly undermining the Democrats by picking up the progressive position and constantly hammering home that they need to start picking up the progressive position with them or they'll be worthless. And now he's got a point in which Democrats are no longer an option. To be pro-Democrat is quite literally to your detriment at this point in time. And I've always thought that that was the case. I think I might have to get a. I think I might have to sell my Yeti at some point. But anyway, I'm gonna go and go here for a bit, just so that way I can harvest some stuff and make some stuff in terms of pills and whatnot. But I'm probably gonna need some. But anyways, it's like. It's very strange that he's doing that, but I'll be honest. If Voss does decide to go and pull for the Democrats in 2028, if we still have a presidential election by then, and the Democrats haven't changed, or even as part of that particular, even more so, if he pulls for the Democrats, I'm ducking his ass. I'm really not interested in being someone who will force you
Armor and arms. Just ask and they're yours.
monkey mask, huh?
Now you see my proper source. Be on your way.
Cheers! Fancy doing anything today?
You could take the things will never degrade and make it better. It's like, dude.
Next time, down a few mouthfuls in one go. It's delightful.
You lost a lot of knowledge. You lost a lot of information.
Self-refinement is the way to make golden pills. My pills are reliable, but be wiser than relying solely on them.
But he seems to be subscribing to this mythology that things on the internet never disappear. They're always there. They can always be called back. Some are always safe. But that's not the case for him. That's only the case if you have a dedicated group of people who are involved in the dissemination of information, keeping dissemination of information.
No shame in taking it.
If you don't have it, guess what? You don't really have a you don't really have the protections you do as far as the internet does. You don't have the means by which to continue you don't have the means of being able to continue to have access to all that information. use incrementally moderately increases critical hit chance for a Sanction power, okay. Damage reduction, okay. Upon use, considerably increases maximum mana for a long duration, okay. Okay, since those were shock oriented, guys, I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Moderately increases attack, fall, burn, inflicting, and chill, inflicting transformations. Okay.
More unfair than innate skills.
And not only that, it's been like when you have a highly educated populace that doesn't understand how the internet is supposed to work, which we don't now. Like, everyone is taking the internet for granted that very few people actually know how the internet actively works at this point in time. Things aren't going to be saved. Information can just be deleted by governments simply putting pressure on the right companies. And that information is lost forever. Hell, we saw the loss of information, a lot of it, when Disney took over, Star Wars. Because they just straight up got rid of a crap ton of forums that had so much information, had so much info, because they didn't think to back any of it up. Or maybe...
Bad luck. It's a dead end. You nasty slanderer! I let you be, and now you have the gall to show up! If you come at me now, this day will be your last!
increases maximum mana, not... Yeah, my bad. What? I took that pill. I took that resurrection pill. I have like several of them. Like, what the fuck? Okay, instead of doing that,
Need a hand? Do it alone. More blocking. You caught me, and you fall! It's the hardest deal, and you'll fight only when he's strength them. Even tougher than the skull of a monkey! More blocking! You rascal! I said but the Jade Emperor below me!
I keep having that resurrection goal, yet it doesn't really do anything. I'm gonna do some shock portaling now. You know, I think it might just be better if I went ahead and upgraded several of my 4 bane resistances. So let me go and go here for a second. Huh. Well, internet's kind of conking out. I'm losing a lot of frames, but for some reason my internet speed is still up. Don't know why that is. Kind of weird, really.
Self-refinement is the way to make golden pills. What say you, brave one? Each pill is a means to an end. Destiny's course. No harvest without hard work. May Lord Lao illuminate your path, brave one. Not a medicine that can change your destiny. No shame in taking the pills. More unfair.
You know, I'm actually going to make an executive decision. I'm going to stop streaming this game, and I'm going to go ahead and play this game off stream to increase my forbearance. Because it would appear to be that that's kind of the issue there. That I need to go ahead and do that. I don't know just where to farm that stuff for. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. I will catch you guys later. And in the meantime, while I'm doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and stream future-wise 40k Inquisitor Martyr until I